Hello, everyone. We are Group 19 in the Engineering 6 Spring 2022 quarter class, and our project entails the Vessel Tracking System app. My name is Akila Swarthamappuram, and on this project, I focused on the start and stop tracking button, the location warning button, the general design of the UI, along with the quit program button.
Hi, my name is George, and I did the geoplot and ThingSpeak functionalities for our app.
Hi everyone, my name is Paul, and I did some of the UI aspects. I did some of the functions for the ThingSpeak as a means for transferring data, and just some parts of the UI for the sender.
So for the general UI layout of this project, what we have here is that we have two tabs. For the main tab right here, we have a vessel tracking system title in the left-hand corner. Then in the center, we have a displayed fixed section of a map that essentially will be plotting all our points and features on. Then we have the display ships toggle on the right-hand side, in which we can toggle ship 1, 2, 3 on and off. Below that, we have a reset history button that essentially takes the past point from when the ships were plotted and sets that as their origin. We also have a start and stop tracking button that essentially change when pressed, and we will show this feature shortly. We have a speed alarm and a location warning alarm that change colors when toggled. And then we also have 3 input places. So for the max SOG input, when we set a max SOG and a ship exceeds that, the speed alarm is toggled turning red. Then we have a restricted latitude and longitude. And when these are set, it creates a box on the map. And when a ship enters this area, the location alarm is toggled and it turns red. And finally, we have a quit program button. When pressed, quits the entire program. And now George will talk about some of our reach and core components of this project.
All right, so to begin, I'm going to start tracking and begin the app. So what it's going to do is it's going to read the information from a CSV file that we've already imported. And this data is going to populate this table right here. And it's going to refresh every few seconds. And we have this visibility feature on the right, which can toggle the ships on or on. And as you can see, as you can hear as well, the speed alarm goes off when a ship exceeds a certain speed. So for example, we had 12 set. And as you can see right here, one of the ships exceeded 12. So the speed alarm goes off playing a sound. This is done in the start tracking button. So when the start tracking button is hit, we begin our loop and we start displaying everything on the screen. So for example, the speed alarm takes the information from the fifth column and it's going to input it and refresh it. And it uses a conditional statement right here for the speed alarm. And if it exceeds it, it's gonna go off and sound that audio clip. As well, we have the locational alarm. As you can see, a ship just entered the restricted area. So the warning goes off. This is done through this conditional statement right here. Also, everything plotted on the screen uses geoplot. So for example, the restricted area is going to be right here. We just geoplot 4 lines around the restricted node. And all of the other ships are plotted using geoplot as well. For example, here for each ship. And we also have historical lines from the origin to where the ship is. So if I reset the history, it's going to create a new origin point at its last known location. And when you move it, you can see it creating a new line from there. That functionality, this reset history button, can be shown right here through this function. And yeah, so now Paul is going to talk about our reach component.
Okay, our reach pretty much looks very similar to our core. We just, on the top left, we have ship 1, ship 2, and ship 3. They're all timetables, and it's just illustrating the time, and then the 8 columns after that are the 8 fields that we're transferring through ThingSpeak. So we have MMSI, longitude, latitude, speed over ground, vessel name, vessel type, length, and width. And so now we're going to be able to input this data through a sender app, which George will illustrate right now. And these are all edit fields that will be written through the ThingSpeak write that I'll explain in a moment. And for example, if we start, since it's a fixed map, if we start our longitude outside of these bounds, you can do like negative 13. Yeah, it'll reset to a default value that we've set for it, and it'll flash red. Same thing for an invalid number for like a negative length. It'll flash red and it'll disable the transmission. And so on my end, using these default values, I'll enable transmission, and George can illustrate this data transfer through ThingSpeak and the tabs on the reach.
All right, yeah, as you can see, it's going to start populating the ThingSpeak channel. And we can show that using our reach app, which is also going to read this information from the ThingSpeak channel. So if I turn on the reach, Paul is actively putting in new information into the ThingSpeak channel using the sender app. And as you can see, the data is moving and new points are being updated every report interval. And this data is also sent into the tables, and we can visualize this data here. This is done through all 3 channels, and each ship has its own channel. So
Now
yeah,
we
go
can
ahead.
go over the write, the ThingSpeak write and the ThingSpeak read for this code. So right here, we have some like loops where we have these counting variables that we've initialized. We're taking the channel ID, and before all this, we're also calling for pause, I believe, where we have the channel ID and the write key, and we're just constantly writing to ThingSpeak. And then if we can go to our read for the sender.
Yes.
This is the wrong file, I believe.
But for the read,
Yeah, the read.
it's going to be right here.
Okay, so we're gonna read ThingSpeak. So we're also gonna read the channel ID and the read key. And so on our ship 1 like tab, we're gonna display that, we're gonna have that timetable, but for our own purposes, we're also gonna convert it to a table, and then we're table append it so that we can illustrate it on that tab. And then we're gonna change that table to an array so that we can use array indexing to extrapolate these values. And then as you can see here, this is where we're getting all the values that we're going to use later on.
And the reach component uses the same geoplotting as the core. So we create that restricted box area using this information that we input here. So for example, if I change this latitude to 1, it should shift the zone up 1. And now this square is going to be the restricted location and will sound the alarm when that occurs.
So for our final reach component that we have here, we have a quit program button. And essentially, when we press that quit program button, it quits the entire program.
All right.
So as you can see, it quit the entire program. And that is the end of our program and our app, and also the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.